There's something about humans that the galaxy never quite understands, not their tech, not their science, not even their stubborn will to survive. No, it's something far more terrifying. It's what happens when you hurt the one they love. This is the story of a Zalrith enforcer, proud, merciless, and bred for war, who made the fatal mistake of laying hands on a human's wife. He thought she was weak. He thought she was alone. He didn't know what species her husband was. Until it was too late. And by the time he realized the truth, the only thing he could do was beg. This is a story from a bar on the edge of known space. A story whispered in fear by mercenaries, soldiers, and bounty hunters alike. A story they call The Day the Terran Snapped. The galaxy's edge isn't pretty. It's not supposed to be. Smugglers, mercs, exiled nobles, bounty hunters, war criminals, and a few people just trying to disappear. Rection 7 is where they all end up. And if Rection 7 is hell, then the Blighted Moon Tavern is the furnace at its core. Sticky floors, broken lights, smoke that stings the eyes. No rules, no second chances. So when she walked in, Elara, everyone turned to look. Not because she was beautiful, though she was. Not because she didn't belong there, though that was clear. No, they looked because she smiled. Like she didn't know where she was. Like she wasn't afraid. And in a place like that, that smile was dangerous. She took a seat near the back, next to a flickering holobooth, and ordered tea. Not synth spice. Not blood wine. Tea. The bartender, a crusted old Dralith, blinked once, grunted, and served it up. That should have been the end of it. But the galaxy isn't kind to outliers. Especially not when a Zalrith enforcer is in the room. Commander Krull Zakar, 9 feet tall, armored carapace, strength-enhancing implants. Built like a war tank. One of the few species that fought humans in the Terran Wars, and lived to tell the tale. He was drinking alone. Watching her. And then, he stood. The room went quiet. Human female, he growled, voice like a grinder on bone. You are far from home. Elara looked up, calm. I like the tea here. Krull Zakar laughed. Deep. Ugly. You think I care? She sipped her drink. You came all the way across the room to say that. That was her second mistake. The first was walking in. But this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was dominance. Zalrith culture worships it. And to them, anyone smaller is prey. He slammed a clawed hand on the table, shattering the cup. You mock me, Terran whore. Heads turned. Conversations died. Krull Zakar grinned, exposing double rows of metal-capped teeth. I could snap you in half before the scream leaves your throat. She didn't flinch. And that was the third mistake. Because now, to him, it was a challenge. The punch came fast. Bone-crushing, meant to kill. But Elara moved. Not enough. It grazed her shoulder, sent her flying into the wall. The sound of impact echoed. The room held its breath. She didn't get up. Krull Zakar growled, cracking his neck. Fragile little. Then the door opened. Boots. Just footsteps. Slow. Steady. Precise. And then, he stepped into the light. Dane Carter. Terran Special Forces. Retired? Ghost Division. The kind of soldier you don't find in history books, because the things he did were never meant to be remembered. To most, he looked normal. Lean. Calm. Civilized. But every real fighter in the room felt it. Predator. He didn't run to Elara. He didn't scream. He just looked. Saw her. Saw the blood on her lip. The bruise forming on her jaw. Then looked at Krull Zakar. You touch my wife? He asked quietly. Krull Zakar sneered. She spoke out of turn. Dane nodded once. So you hit her. The silence in the bar was now thick. Heavy. A memory came alive in the minds of the older mercs, stories they had buried deep. About Earth's wars. About what humans do when you cross a line. Dane took off his coat. Folded it. Laid it on the table. "You don't know what you just did," he said. Kralzakar laughed. "You think a little primate like you can scare me?" Dane stepped forward. "No weapons. Just hands?" But everyone knew, he didn't need more. "I'm not here to scare you," he said. "I'm here to end you." Kralzakar lunged, brute strength, full momentum. Dane didn't move until the last second. He ducked, pivoted, and the Zalrith's massive fist cracked the wall where his head had been. Then Dane struck. 1, 2, 3. Blows to nerve clusters, pressure points, joints. Kralzakar roared in rage. Not pain? Rage. He wasn't used to someone who moved like that. Humans weren't supposed to be that fast. Then Dane kicked his knee sideways. The crunch was loud. Kralzakar dropped to one leg. Still, he swung his claw like a blade. Caught Dane's ribs. Blood splashed. Dane didn't react. Instead, he grabbed the wrist. Twisted. The bone popped. Then came the elbow strike to the throat. A knee to the solar plexus. And an open palm to the side of the head that sent the 9-foot warrior crashing through a table. No one breathed. Kralzakar stumbled up. Spitting black ichor. One eye swelling shut. You're just a human. Dane's voice was ice. That was your mistake. He walked forward slowly, blood dripping from his side. You think we're weak because we bleed. Because we break. He grabbed the Zalrith's collar, pulled him close. But what you don't get, what none of you ever get, is that we don't stop. Kralzakar swung again. Desperate. Dane caught it. Drove his fist into the alien's gut. Again. 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 The thuds echoed like drums of war. Kralzakar dropped. You hit my wife, Dane said softly. And then? He whispered something in the alien's ear. No one ever found out what it was. But Kralzakar screamed. And didn't stop for minutes. The bar was silent. Dane walked back to Elara. Helped her up gently. She winced. Should have ducked faster. He smiled. I'll teach you the combat roles again. You say that every time. He held her close. Then looked at the crowd. No threat. Just a glance. And everyone turned away. As they walked out, the bartender, a grizzled old warrior who had seen 4 interstellar wars, nodded once. And whispered to no one in particular. Never touch a Terran's mate. There's a reason the galaxy fears humans. Not because they're the strongest. Not the smartest. Not the fastest. But because when you hurt the ones they love, they become something else. Something unstoppable. This story made the rounds in merc circles for years. The Zalrith Empire quietly issued an apology. Kralzakar was never seen again. Some say, he still lives, but in a prison cell of his own mind, whispering one name over and over. Dane. Carter. So the next time someone laughs at humans, just remind them. They look soft, they sound polite, but they're the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Especially when they're in love. If you loved this story, show us that Terran pride. Like, comment your favorite moment, subscribe for more epic sci-fi shorts, share with someone who needs to know. Never mess with a human's heart. And if you want more HFY stories just like this one, stick around, because the next one, it's even crazier. See you next transmission.